In this video, we are going to do a quick overview of the SF Symbols app for Mac. Here we are on the SF Symbols page on Apple's website. This is where you would go to download the application. So I can click on this download link here, and you can see I can download 6, which is the latest version, or the previous version 5.1. We're on the overview of it here. There's a link to watch the latest videos about SF symbols. That will take you to a page showing you a bunch of videos that were created by Apple for Apple's developer conference, WWDC. This is a great resource to learn all about the many features of SF symbols. So definitely check this out if you have time. Back on the SF Symbols page, SF Symbols is a library of over 6,000 symbols that are designed to integrate seamlessly with San Francisco, the system font for Apple platforms. In my previous video, I covered the SF Symbols section of the Human Interface Guidelines, talking about all of the features that are built into SF symbols. So check that out if you have time. And another video I did, I covered the San Francisco font and the typography section of the Human Interface Guidelines as well. So this page just gives you a quick overview of SF symbols. It shows there are some new animations in the latest version. There's a new magic replace, which lets you kind of animate in these subtracted areas from an icon. And enhanced annotation, you can change the direction of animations. There are over 800 new symbols, so Apple adds icons to this collection every year, usually around WWDC in June. So that's coming up pretty soon. We'll probably see some more icons be added to the collection. Here again is that download link to download the app, so make sure you do that. And then explore the Human Interface Guidelines. This will take you to that SF Symbols section, which I covered in my last video, so check that out. Now let's hop on over to the app itself. So here we are in the SF Symbols app. You'll see it's kind of divided into 3 columns here. We have the left column with all of the categories of symbols that are available. We show the symbols in the middle area, and then we have 3 inspectors on the right. So on the left, we have all selected. So we're seeing all of the symbols. In the middle, there are 6,404 symbols right now. That'll probably go up soon in the future. But yeah, over 6,000 symbols. It gives you a lot to choose from. We have all selected here. We can also click on what's new, which is nice. It shows you the latest icons that have been added to the collection. If we select multicolor here, we see all of the symbols that support Apple's multicolor. We'll get more into that in a minute. We can click on variable color and see all the symbols that support variable color. We'll also get into what that means in a second. And then everything else is pretty much just a filter on the symbols to show a different category. Everything from communication to home, fitness, shapes, everything in between. It's just a nice, easy way to find what you're looking for. And then at the bottom, there's a custom symbols library, and we will add a custom symbol here in a minute. So in the middle here, we have all of the icons showing. At the top, we have a toolbar showing you that all is selected and the number of symbols. We can change the SF variant that we want. So we can change it to display, rounded, and these different versions of San Francisco. We can change the weight. You can kind of see that, update all the icons as you select different things here. And then we change how we display it. So right now we're in a grid. We can make it a list or a gallery, which shows a giant icon there. The list is kind of nice if you want to see the availability, which version of the OS an icon supports. But I usually just stick with grid. There's also a search field, so we can search for something. So if I search for the word circle, we see that it updates to show 1,382 symbols, all with the word circle in the name. And then we can also toggle these sidebars on and off. If you really want to get rid of those and just show the icons, you can do that. Okay, let's go ahead and click on variable color and click on badge.plus.radiowaves.write. With this symbol selected, we see the info inspector selected. That's the little info button in this segment and control up here. And then all this inspector does is tell you which versions are supported for which OS. So we have monochrome, hierarchical, palette, and multicolor. Those are the 4 rendering modes available. I go into detail about what those mean in my last video where I covered SF symbols and the human interface guidelines, so check that out. But you'll see that for this symbol, it is selected in iOS 13 and up for monochrome, but it's different for hierarchical. It's iOS 15 and up. So this is just good to make sure that the icon you want to use is supported in the app you are building, which may be built for a specific version of iOS. Next, we have the rendering inspector. So this shows your 4 rendering modes. We have monochrome, we have hierarchical, palette, and multicolor. You can see I can just click those icons to see that change there. I can also change it from this drop down. And this also changes every symbol in the display. You may have noticed that change on the left there. So as I change that, that's actually updating every symbol. So for monochrome, we see a color section, which just allows you to change the primary color available for monochrome. So if I change that to red, you're going to see that update for all of the symbols. And because it's monochrome, you're only seeing that one color being applied to every layer of the symbol. Now, because I am in variable color, all of these symbols support variable color. What's that mean? Well, there's this variable color slider here. And when I activate that, you can kind of see that update. I'll change that again. Watch the symbols on the left here. They all kind of update when I turn that on. That's because this slider is at 0%. With this activated, and as I slide it, you see at different values, these symbols actually update to show different versions, different layers in their symbols become different colors of different opacity. And then I can change the background of the symbol to do dark if I wanted to. I usually just stick with light. Okay, let's move on to hierarchical. So hierarchical, you can see here how the plus in the circle is the filled in with 100% of the color, and then the sound waves themselves are more subdued. So that's what hierarchical means. That means different layers of the symbol may have different opacity levels. Palette lets you update the different layers with your own choice of color. So because red is what we selected as our primary color, here now we have secondary and tertiary colors available. So for this symbol, I can change that secondary color, let's say to be green. And now because those sound waves are in that secondary layer, they are now painted as green. This symbol does not have a third layer, so changing that does not update anything. But some symbols do have that third that tertiary color available to use as well. And then with multicolor, so what multicolor means is there's a specific part of the symbol that Apple is explicitly saying should be a certain color. So you see that green circle with the plus, that green color, I cannot change that. That's something that Apple is explicitly saying we want that to be green, because of a plus usually means it's like a positive action. So you see like a trash can icon is going to be red. And there's different colors available for different things, like the sun might be yellow or something like that. I will change this back to, let's say, black for our primary color, just to see that it still stays green no matter what I do to the primary color. And then in the animation inspector, that allows me to preview different animation styles. So I can do everything from bounce, and I get preview here, and you can see it play. can change that to continuous, and it just continuously shows the animation. Let's change that to another one. I kind of like pulse, is kind of cool. So you can see it pulsating there. And because this is a variable color, if I do a variable color animation, you will see that those layers kind of animate directionally towards the right. So what that is doing, just to go back, it's really just changing the variable color slider. It's animating this slider is what that's doing. And then there's different animation styles, and you can do different things with the inactive layers. And another cool thing is if you're working with a developer, you can just hit this little icon here, which lets you copy the code, the Swift code, or the Objective-C code. So you can have that and paste that directly into Xcode for your app, which is pretty nice. Okay, let's move down to custom symbols. So if I select custom symbols, there's no symbols, and there are no symbols created, so there's none showing there. But what I can do is for any symbol in here, let's search for popcorn. And this popcorn.fill symbol. When I select that, just going back to our different rendering modes here, we see that it's all the same. It's that black color, our primary color, is being applied for everything in here. But let's say I want to update some of the colors in this symbol and make it a custom symbol. Let's do that. If we select the symbol and then right-click on it, we can do duplicate as custom symbol. Now I should add here, there are also other options. I can copy the symbol, which basically just copies the SVG of the symbol, so I can paste that right into Figma or whichever image editor you are using. I can copy the name, which is just going to copy the text popcorn.fill, which is good for copy and pasting that into your Xcode, into your project. I can copy the image itself or copy image as and change the name of it. But for right now, I'm going to duplicate as custom symbol. So that's going to take this symbol and it's going to add it to the custom symbols library. Okay, now it selected custom symbols for me, and I'm here. I have that same symbol available. Now, one other feature I should add is that you can add another library. So this plus button at the bottom left, I click that and I can create a new collection. Let's call my collection 44 points. And because that's brand new, there are no symbols found in that collection. But going back to custom symbols, I can select this, I can right click on it, and I can add symbol to, and there's my 44 points collection. I click that, and now that's available in my collection. So that's just a nice way to organize your custom symbols. Okay, so with a custom symbol, if we look at our inspectors again, our rendering inspector, we see that there's a new section called layers, and this exposes the layers that are available for this symbol. So with this symbol, we have the popcorn that's in the popcorn box at the top. We have the popcorn box itself, which is signified by these three areas. And then there's like one piece of popcorn that is spilled out of the box and is sitting next to the box. If we select palette, so our goal here is to change some of the colors in this icon. So I see each of these layers controls a different part of the symbol. So this one, when you open it up, you see what is selected. The subpath is selected is that piece of popcorn. And right now that has the primary color selected for it. The erase path is just erasing, it's that space in between that piece of popcorn and the box there, is all that is. And then you have the rest of the symbol, so the popcorn up top and the three pieces of the box. Let's say we want to change this so the three pieces of the box are two different colors. So what we can do is we can create a new layer, And that gives me a new layer with nothing selected. I can open that up. And let's say I want to select just the first part of the box and the third part of the box. That's all I want for that layer. I can change it to, let's say, the secondary color, which is green in this case. I'm going to change that to blue. And you see, after I've changed that, you haven't seen anything change up here. And that's because this layer is on top of it. So if I go into this and I deselect the left and the right, and because that one's on top of it, now this layer does not apply to those, and the one below it takes over. So you see that now the left and right parts of the box are blue. Okay, let's add another layer that controls the middle piece of the box, which is just that one. And that will be our tertiary color. And let's deselect the tertiary color from this layer. And right now our tertiary color is set to none. Let's change that to red. And now you see we have blue, red, blue for the box. And that leaves the popcorn itself, both the popcorn in the box and the piece of popcorn outside of the box. And let's keep those as primary, but let's just have fun and say this is some gross popcorn that is green. So there you go. Now we have a custom icon with green popcorn in a blue and red box. I don't know why you would use this, but there you go. That kind of shows you what you can do with a custom icon. And you can change the order of these as well in your group. And one final thing I want to show you is that with a custom symbol, again, if you right click on it, you can combine symbol with component. So let's first just duplicate this custom symbol. So it's the same exact symbol. And this one, we're going to combine symbol with component. And that opens up this dialog. And there are three different types of components you can use. There are enclosures, there are badges, and then a slash. So a slash just puts a slash through the icon, and then you have these different badges you can add. So if you want to add a plus badge, you would select that one. And there's different ones you can choose, or you can enclose it in a circle. I can actually select more than one thing here. So I'm going to select the circle.fill and the plus badge, and then we create symbols. And then it creates a symbol with those different components added to them. So this would be good for if you want to add popcorn, I guess, an add popcorn button. Now you see that the plus badge was added on top of the piece of popcorn, which is maybe not what you want. You'll see there's a new badge section over here in your rendering inspector, and you can change the offset. So if I want that badge on the left, you see I can just move that, and now it's on the left side of your popcorn. I can also change the Y if I wanted to as well. And then finally, you can also keep combining it with components. So I've already added that plus badge. I could also now put this into a square. So now I have the plus on the popcorn in the square. So you can keep going with it if you want to. Okay, so that's just an overview of the SF Symbols app. I hope this gives you a good idea of the different things you can do with it. In my next video, I am going to take an SF symbol from the SF Symbols app and export it and take it into Figma and show what you can do with an SF symbol for your iOS design. So check out that video when it comes out pretty soon. So do you use SF symbols in your designs? If so, do you like them? Is there anything you don't like about them? Any comments at all, just leave them in the comments section below, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.